So, what's great about the New York Fair Trade Coalition, which we can talk more about, and you're the chair of, under that umbrella is so many things, and you have opportunities for people to come up and swap clothes, buy clothes, get credit, trade clothes. You have all kinds of workshops and all kinds of things. You want to talk about how it started and how you guys started it, how you started it, and how you unroll just everything you offer there. I mean, you have an incredible exhibit going on right now and a lot of different things happening this month. And so, yeah.
Yeah. So while I was in Uganda the first time, I started to notice these outdoor markets. So a lot of our secondhand clothing ends up in places like Uganda, you know, all throughout Africa, all throughout South America. So the average American wears something 7 to 12 times before they discard it. So the story of like clothing, perhaps the cotton is coming from a place like Texas, right? And then the cotton is going to sent to a place like Bangladesh, where it's going to be combed and carded, and maybe it's sent to India to be dyed and spun, and then maybe to China to be cut, and then maybe to a Caribbean country like the Dominican Republic to be sewn together. Because wherever an item's sewn together, that's its country of origin.
Okay,
and
that's
then
good
it's
to know.
brought in cheaper through certain countries, like the taxes or the duty or the tariff, whatever. So then it comes into the United States. So maybe this T-shirt has more components from around the world than the average American has visited countries, right?
Right, it's like a world traveler before it gets to its final destination.
What is their passport, right? Who knows? Sometimes that's a big problem that we're trying to figure out the transparency of where these things are coming from and who made it. Is it, you know, children making, or are they being paid fairly? Are there chemicals? Are there pesticides? A whole bunch of problems there. So then the average American is wearing it 7 to 12 times before they discard it. So I'm in Uganda actually reading a book, Travels of a T-shirt, A Global Economy, that goes through all this. And as I'm sitting there in these markets, I go back and I start at FIT in International Trade and Marketing. And that was the book that we had to read our first semester. So who was the overachiever? I was. I had read the book maybe twice. And it really set me on this path to try to understand, why do we overproduce and overconsume? So each year we produce 150 billion garments around the world. 150 billion garments. 30% is never even worn and is just burned or landfilled. So if we're making that many clothes and so much is going to waste, that's a big problem there. And you know, us as Americans, we love to consume, we love to shop, that's our national pastime. So understanding that we're overproducing, we're overconsuming, but we're not any happier. That was the big reflection, I think, for me being in Uganda, is that I was working with women who had not a lot, and they live with joy and hope. And then I came back to New York working in the fashion industry where we have everything, and people complaining about how fat they were, how they had too much to eat, how they're, you know, they had to buy all the time because their things wouldn't fit them, how they didn't feel good, and I could just see the problems that were, you know,
generated?
Yeah, generated, just that were, you know, contributing to each other. And since then, I think I've really kind of dedicated myself just to waking people up on how they consume or how they live their life, how, you know, if you adjust a few things and you try to detox yourself from consumerism in general, you can find much more fulfilling ways. And a lot of that, for me at least, I've discovered is community, right? Instead of reaching out to go online shopping or to reach out to eat food that, you know, I'm not even hungry for, to reach out to human connection instead.
Right.
And that's harder, that's trickier. But at the end of the day, that's what we need, I think, to heal and to help each other and build that kind of community. So I think, you know, whether it's the things that I do with A. Bernadette or the Fair Trade Coalition or the Sustainable Fashion Community Center up in East Harlem, it's constantly trying to, you know, meet people where they're at. Where are they in their sustainable journey? Where are they at in, you know, alleviating their generational trauma? Where are they at with, you know, trying to detangle themselves from maybe cultural norms that are not so healthy? And doing it in really subtle ways, right? A lot of times it just ends up being, you know, listening to them. Like,